Olá, this is Module 3 and this is the first topic, hábitos recentes, expressões temporais associadas. Until now, we have covered three big tenses. First, the present. Second, we have pretérito perfeito simples do indicativo, the first past tense that we talk about, and that is used for a one-time action in the past. And finally, the tense that we just discussed in the previous module, pretérito imperfeito do indicativo, that among other uses is used to talk about duration and also frequency in the past. Having talked about these three tenses, I figured that it would also be a good idea to remember the time expressions that we use for each of them and their utilizations before talking about the time expressions that we're going to use for the recent habits. We begin, of course, with present do indicativo. The first utilization that we have here for present do indicativo is for habits in the present. So anything that would suggest that an action is repeated in the present so much that we almost consider it as routine. The second utilization is for a near future that naturally is subjective. I added here some ideas to talk about the near future in present do indicativo, and there may be other expressions, but normally these are the ones that we use. And final utilization for true affirmations in the present for which we don't have associated time expressions. Secondly, we talk here about pretérito perfeito simples, as I mentioned before, and as you very well know, it is used for a one-time action in the past, an action that was not prolonged, that was initiated and concluded for a short amount of time in the past. So, for that we have expressions like ontem, anteontem, na semana passada, no mês passado, no ano passado, em junho em 1987. Naturally here, the month and the year are just random because you can use any month or any year to talk about an action that occurred one time in the past. And finally, pretérito imperfeito do indicativo that we discussed in detail in the previous module. And as you know, it is a very versatile tense, but here we are going to focus on two utilizations. First, duration in the past that has these associated time expressions, and second, frequency in the past that also shares some of the time expressions with the habits in present do indicativo. If we're talking about habits being in the present or being in the past, we can still use these time expressions. Finally, there's only one thing left to talk about, which is the actual theme of this topic. When we are here talking about all the tenses, there is really just one that is left to talk about, the tense that we use for recent habits, for actions that we initiated in the past and are prolonged or are repeated until our present. We are not going to talk about the tense itself until the next module, so for now I'm going to leave you already with the time expressions that we can use with it. Those are ultimamente, nos últimos meses ou anos, nas últimas semanas, até ao presente, até agora.